Welcome to City Life. It's really good to have you with us today. Now, a couple of weeks ago during the school holidays, we gave out some canvases, some blank canvases, to some young people to paint for the backdrop here on City Life. We have had another one come in. This one here has been painted and drawn by 14-year-old Brittany Glassy. It's absolutely incredible. 14-year-old Brittany Glassy. So we thank her grandmother, Rosemary Brown, for bringing that one in. Now, if you do have a canvas out there that you still haven't finished painting and haven't brought it back in, why don't you spend the rest of the week doing that, because we're looking forward to having them back on the program. Now, today on the program, we talk about the approaching Problem Gambling Awareness Week. Special little animal guests, and they might just be lambs, and we do have another dog in an interview as well, so looking forward to that. Kiwi band The Nudger in Christchurch, and how we get the most of our time at the gym. But first up on the program, Dr. Tony Brien from Lincoln University. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, you're off on to a very special field trip in Sydney. Tell me about this.
Well, at Lincoln, we are very clear on the application of our theory into practice, and we try to get our students into as many of the businesses and operations that they are learning about in the theoretic aspects and behind the scenes into those areas. So yes, Sydney is the destination for a field tour for this year. Okay,
so tell me about the group that you're going over with. What are they studying?
Well, the students are coming from various areas, Bachelor of Commerce, and there's various majors. A student studying hotel management as a major and marketing as a major. Sport and recreation students who will be looking at the events management, Olympic Park and so on. And we also have the students who are studying tourism. So they'll be looking at the Sydney's events and tourism aspects.
Okay, so let's just look at the different groups and what exactly they'll be doing, more in full.
Well, the Monday is a pretty full day for them this week. Coming week, they will be at Olympic Park, the site of the Olympic Games. They then head off to the Sydney Town Hall, where they look at the organisation of the major events for Sydney, and then off to the Opera House to see all back-of-scene operations. And it's all about talking about the operators and how they make those things happen. Tuesday is a bit of a busy day for the hotel sector and students. They visit some major hotels. There's the Marriott Hotel and Four Seasons Hotel. Again, they get to see behind the scenes as much as what the guest is experiencing, but the opportunity again to talk to those managers and those operators. And Wednesday, another hotel, the Observatory Hotel, which is a fabulous hotel in Sydney, and on to the Sydney Event Conference Centre in Darling Harbour. So, it might sound fun, but there's a lot of work.
It sure does sound fun. I actually wish I was studying out there at Lincoln. So how are you preparing for this trip, or how have you prepared for this trip?
Well, the students have been studying either in their first, second or third years, so they've already covered some content about some of the things they may see. And this is the chance for them to now prep themselves to talk to the operators and ask really the how do you do it question. They've studied the why and the wheres, so this is the how, and talking to those operators, seeing what the stresses are of the days that they do, how they put those things together, how they manage those operations. So they've been through briefings with us at the university. We're very grateful to the operators in Australia to help us with that. That said, we do go to Auckland and we do a domestic tour as well. And the unfortunate situation, of course, with Christchurch is that some of the centres and events we would go to, unfortunately, are just not available at the moment. So the students are very keen to continue that sort of theme.
So what happens when they come back? Do they have to write up about their experiences? Is there more work?
Unfortunately, yes, after the retail therapy that they tell me they're going to be doing at the end of the tour, they come back and we go through a debrief. And we set objectives up before we go, and we certainly measure those when we come back. The tour is actually self-funded by the students, so it's a great level of commitment they're making. And we go over what did they actually get out of that. A lot of students are looking for careers and they're looking for jobs, and this is, of course, a touch point where they may be able to go back in time to those places. So we look at the learning that they had before they went, how it panned out in speaking to the people who are doing this on a daily basis, And then, of course, some students have further study to go, so it helps them with their further study because they've experienced new things.
How important is a field trip like this for the students?
Well, we think it's critical at Lincoln. We are a very applied university. It's what we're very proud of. It's not all theory with us. You must be able to apply it. And that's what employers want. Graduates who can actually do what they want to do in their environment there. So that practical application is really key for them to get hands-on experience in talking to these people.
Okay, so this is the second field trip for the year. There was the one domestic one earlier.
First, we do it on alternate years. We do a domestic field tour 1 year and an international the second year. Okay. So it just makes it a little easier for students and our planning and organisation in that aspects.
So I'm sure it's not just the students looking forward to this trip, but also the the chaperones. Are you a chaperone?
Well,
I don't suppose you need a chaperone now.
My colleague and I will manage the mob, as we would say, in Sydney during the field tour operations.
Okay.
But yeah, it's always great to go. It's always great to connect with those people because, for example, Chris and I come from those sectors, from the major hotel sectors and the event sectors. So for us, it's meeting up with their colleagues again and touching base and catching up with new things.
Okay.
And that's always important.
Okay, Tony, we'll have fun. And thanks for coming to the program.
Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to welcome Tony from the Problem Gambling Foundation. Good to have you on City Life.
Thanks for having me on.
Now, first of all, let's talk about the foundation. What do you do?
Well, we're a national organisation. We have 65 staff throughout the country. We're mainly a counselling service, so we support individuals and their families through their gambling problems and provide them with counselling and support to try to deal with their issue. We also do public health work across the country, so that's about trying to minimise harm and try to prevent people from developing gambling problems in the first place.
How have you found the impact of the earthquake with problem gamblers here in Christchurch?
Well, we know that, particularly with things like pokie machines, people use those machines to try to zone out, and people have been particularly stressed at the moment in Christchurch. People have had a lot of anxiety around the aftershocks. So we've seen that use of things like pokie machines has gone up quite dramatically. And in fact, the expenditure on pokies in the last quarter went up $4 million, which is a pretty dramatic an unprecedented increase.
Okay. Do you think this might have something to do with, well, the casino was closed for quite some time. Would it have something to do with that, do you think?
Well, we weren't sure in terms of whether it was displacement, but the casino was actually open for quite a lot of that quarter. So we think that it certainly did have an impact, but we do know that there was a significant increase despite the casino being closed for some of that period.
How concerning is this that the pokie numbers have soared?
Well, it's a big concern because a lot of people that might not otherwise get addicted to gambling might find themselves getting into trouble. And these machines are highly addictive machines because of the way they're designed. People are getting wins and losses every 3 or 4 seconds, and that means that people who might not otherwise have played the machines might start playing them and get addicted very quickly.
Okay.
So we'd encourage them to come in and seek support from us.
What's the biggest problem when it comes to problem gambling?
Well, in terms of the different types of gambling, pokies are definitely the biggest problem. Also, casino tables are a problem as well, and other forms of gambling, but pokies are the main problem. Around 80% of our clients are addicted to pokie machines, either pub or club pokie machines or casino pokie machines, and these are very addictive. We call them the crack cocaine of gambling because people get addicted to them very quickly.
Okay.
1 in 4 people who play pokies regularly will develop a problem.
Tell me about these people's lives, like what's happening in their lives that brings up this problem gambling, and how does it affect their lives as well?
Well, it's definitely different for every individual. We have young people coming in, 16, 17-year-olds who are addicted to internet poker, and the issues that are going on for them are quite different from, say, an 80-year-old who, one of our clients who came in recently, 80 years old, and it was actually her children that phoned us to alert us to the problem. She'd never gambled in her life. And her husband died and she was lonely, she wanted somewhere warm to go. She very quickly found herself addicted to the machine, and she'd spent the entire life savings that they'd built up over their entire life.
Wow.
So it's very different for different kinds of people, different age groups, but it can affect anyone.
What about Christchurch compared to the rest of New Zealand? Is it more of a problem here?
Well, we've been really lucky in Christchurch. The Christchurch City Council introduced a sinking lid policy on pokies in 2004, and they've been a real leader in New Zealand in terms of that policy. So the numbers of machines have been decreasing since 2004. But certainly the earthquake has changed people's behaviours, whether it's eating habits or alcohol or in our case, gambling. And we're just asking people to look out for each other, look out for their family and their friends, and if they feel like they're developing a problem, to certainly ask for help and to reach out.
Tell me about Gamble Free Day.
Gamble Free Day is the 1st of September, and it was created a few years ago as an opportunity to raise awareness and to provide people with alternatives so that they can do something other than go and gamble. Here in Christchurch, we're going to hold the event on Saturday the 3rd of September at the St Albans Baptist Church from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and we're going to have free entertainment, free food. We're going to have a kids' craft room, so, you know, families can come along, kids can come along, have a good day, you know, look after the Litleys, don't go and gamble just for that day. Would be fantastic. Who's in behind this day? Anybody? Is the casino behind this day? Unfortunately not. It would be nice if they shut down for a day, but I think it's unlikely. It's mainly problem gambling providers, so there's the Problem Gambling Foundation, Oasis, Salvation Army, who have developed a concept, Captain Stomper, which is a bit of a superhero who's going to come along and give some prizes out to the kids because there's a colouring competition, Pacific Island Evaluation, and there's also a number of organisations that are going to come and have stalls and health and wellbeing events at the Gamble Free Day as well. Okay. Now, if people find that they do have a problem with gambling, or they have a family member, a friend who is a problem gambler, what can they do? Well, they can contact our organisation. So we've got a website, www.pgfnz.org.nz, or they can phone our 0800 number, and we're in the yellow pages, or they can Google search us. Okay. But yeah, give us a call. All right, so that's pgfnz.org.nz. Tony, really good to have you on the program today. Thanks very much. After the break, we meet some little lambs. You're back with City Life, and I'd like to welcome Helen, a coordinator from the Farmy Army. I'm actually not going to talk about what part of the Farmy Army you're involved with, but because of our little friends here today, it's good to have you here. Thank you. Now tell me about your little lambs. I'm so excited about these little lambs. This one's eating my finger off. Tell me about your lamb. This is a snow lamb, revived from almost dead on Monday morning out of the snow. And she's as bouncy as, and this is a wee merino, a stud merino, and that's a Romney. A little Romney. And you've just let me name this one. Yes. Which I've named Daisy. And it's just gorgeous. And what's that one there's name? This is Lucille, because she's the rowdiest lamb I think we've ever had. And I always think of Lucille Ball as being a fairly gutsy, rowdy actress, and so Lucille she became. And your little puppy? And Tumble. Tumble, who's a 3.5-year-old Jack Russell. Just gorgeous. Who takes it on her job to mother all the half-dead lambs lying in front of the heater on the hot water bottles. So how's it been going this week, well, last week with the snow? How have they been going? Surprisingly, we've coped well. Yeah. But then it's only a small flock. The biggest risk with the other flocks in our operation has been sleepy sickness, going down with not enough green feed in front of them, heavy in lamb. But yes, we've got there. There'll be losses and losses later on with metabolic backup, but we're pretty lucky. Yeah. So how have you been coping? How have you been looking after them? This one really wants to eat my finger off. Don't eat my finger off. Well, or my microphone. With the studs lambing, I've been picking up every lamb that's dropped and grabbing the mothers and putting them straight into sheds. Okay. And I'm a great fan of baleage and lucerne chaff. And yes, everybody's been happy chappies really, and these little wool over lamb covers. Tell me about these. No, please, you have to sit down. These were developed. They're out of strong wool, out of Romney and crossbred wool. Right. And we'll sit the dirty bottom down. Have to sit down. Naughty Lammy. And naughty Daisy. They were developed by David Brown from Temuka. Oh, right. And they're now made in Auckland, and I think there's a back order for 7,000 this week. Oh, they ran out last Thursday.
That's incredible.
In Canterbury, yeah.
So how long has this initiative been around?
Oh, probably 15 to 20 years, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah,
That's
and
amazing.
they've been needle felted.
Okay.
And they expand with the lamb, and they last about
Daisy.
3 or 4 weeks. So at tailing time,
Thank you.
you generally cut them off then.
I've just lost my microphone, so...
That little bottom...
Gross
I'll
out.
grab it. That little bottom had an extra wash under the tub this morning.
Easy rather just find my microphone. Okay. Right, I think we're almost back to it. Now tell me about the Farmy Army and your involvement with that.
Well, 2 days after the earthquake in February, they rang up and asked if I would come and coordinate the catering. And we went from there. It was a case of sourcing food, and I had a wonderful team to work with, particularly Nikki Geddes from Verve Catering, and then the federated farmers and the rural women all stepped into the breach. The voluntary organisations, you know, it was fantastic. And we had great chefs. We had David Tame from Polytech and Johnny Schwass.
He is eating your microphone.
Oh, no,
or is it he? Is it a she? I couldn't hear a girl name. Okay,
They're both
good.
she's, and all the men in the
Daisy.
camp would say that's typical, wouldn't they?
Right.
And so we fed all our volunteers, and then the Salvation Army had been feeding the eastern suburbs, and they stopped and they asked us if we'd carry on. So we carried on for another week, and we took 500 to 700 meals a day out to the eastern suburbs.
How on earth do you coordinate all that?
Well, we were lucky with the team. We really were. And with the sponsorship, companies just came on board. You just needed to pick up the phone. There was no usual, you know, having to sell the idea or anything. It was just phenomenal. Human
amazing.
nature just really stepped into the breach.
So what are you doing now? You're still working with, well, people of Christchurch? Is the Farmy Army still out there?
It is, and we never thought we'd remobilise, but we did in June, and it was a surprise to all of us that we managed to do that. But I think we could do it again. I don't know that most of us could do the 15-hour days to the same extent. But we're doing one-off initiatives.
It's just absolutely incredible what you've been doing, especially out in the eastern suburbs. I mean, as I said at the beginning of the introduction, I didn't want to talk about what you were doing out in the eastern suburbs. Stop eating that microphone, Daisy. Naughty little girl. So, what's your involvement now?
We still have quite a lot of meat on in storage, and there's a chance to distribute that at certain times. And, I think a bit of light relief, a bit of comfort food, the desire to try and bring people around their individual kitchen tables, and that's important.
Well, Helen,
people need to feel wanted.
Exactly.
And we're working with the local police, and they're telling us it's having quite an effect in the community. Crime rate's down.
Okay, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Helen, it's incredible what you and the rest of the Farmy Army are doing out there. Thank you for bringing in your little friends and your little puppy. It's really good to see you.
Thank you.
After the break, we catch up with the Canterbury District Health Board. Welcome back to City Life, and it's my pleasure to welcome Alistair Humphrey from the CDHB. Good to have you here in City Life.
Thank you.
Let's chat about Legionella. What is Legionella?
Well, Legionella is a bacteria. It was discovered in 1976 in Philadelphia, and it's named after the American Legion, who are their equivalent of our kind of Retired Services Association. And unfortunately, they had an outbreak in a hotel, which resulted in quite a few deaths.
Okay, and so is it a serious disease? Is it always a serious disease?
It's not always a serious disease, but there's a mild form of it, which is sometimes called Pontiac fever. But the more serious disease, the one we call Legionella or Legionellosis, is a pneumonia which kills often 1 in 5 people who get it, sometimes as much as 1 in 2. So it can be very serious.
Wow, that's amazing. What are the symptoms?
The symptoms, unfortunately, for those of us who are trying to diagnose it, doctors like myself, are very vague symptoms. You know, they're a dry cough, sometimes you get a fever, you get a bit of diarrhoea occasionally. So lots of vague symptoms. A difficult thing to diagnose, but if you have a collection of symptoms like that, you really should go and see your doctor.
Okay. Is anyone at risk in particular?
The older you are, the more risk you're more at risk. If you smoke, you're more at risk. People who garden obviously are at risk because some forms of it come from compost. But anybody can get this illness.
Okay. It seems that we've had a few outbreaks here in Canterbury. Is this a problem area?
Well, we have had a few notable outbreaks in the past, but the reason it is a problem area in Canterbury is because we're so keen on gardening. And potting mix and compost are a source of a type of Legionella called Legionella longbeachi. And it's that type which causes us most problems here in Canterbury. It's an expensive disease because we have many people who are admitted to intensive care, and they're often there for quite a long time.
So potting mix can be deadly?
It can be, yes. But there are ways of preventing the illness.
Okay, let's look at those ways.
Well, essentially, there are 5 main rules you need to remember. First of all, when you're opening the bag, keep it outside. Don't open it inside, and use a pair of scissors. So don't rip the bag open because the dust will fly out, and it's the dust we're concerned about.
Okay.
Secondly, wear mask and gloves. That's important when you're dealing with this. Not all the time in the garden, but certainly when you've got this dust flying around, it's very important to do that.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is to dampen down dust. As they are doing now, is when they're clearing up the building sites in Christchurch, there's all this silt flying around. They dampen it down with hoses. When you're opening potting mix, you need to do the same thing. Dampen the stuff down so that you don't inhale the dust.
Right.
As I said, wear gloves, but very importantly, always wash your hands when you've finished dealing with it.
Right. So what's community and public health doing with the Legionella outbreaks?
Well, this has been a real problem for the District Health Board, and particularly our intensive care colleagues who, as I said before, often find the intensive care unit filled up with people sometimes who are suffering from Legionella pneumonia. So we want to make sure that it is a preventable disease and people don't get it as often. So what we're doing this year is we are working with the industry, with retailers, with gardening clubs to promote these messages about safe handling of potting mix. And we've got leaflets that we'll be distributing to make sure that people can garden safely. Gardening is a very healthy thing to do. We want people to carry on gardening, but we want to make sure they do it safely and they don't put themselves at risk. So the Ministry of Health have produced these leaflets, which we'll be distributing around all the retailers in town when potting mix is sold.
Okay, so tell us again where we can pick these leaflets up.
It's online. You can get it online from the Ministry of Health. They have a website where you can look at it. But all retailers, all the big gardening centres and the gardening clubs have received these leaflets, so you can get a hard copy from them as well if you like.
All right, so we can go online to govt.nz.
That's right.
We can find out ways to, well, prevent Legionella in
That's
Christchurch.
right.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the programme today.
You're very welcome.
After the break, we catch up with Kiwi band The Nudge. You guys need no introduction. That just pretty much introduced you all.
Did I?
Yeah.
Perfect. James, Ryan, Iraya, good to have you here on City Life.
Yeah, thanks, Kenita.
Thanks.
Great to be
So
here.
you're from Christchurch.
Yeah, I'm from Christchurch.
And you've brought your friends with you down here to play for Christchurch, for the masses.
Yeah, no, it's good to be down here. It was nice driving in last night. And yeah, it's my family stays just down the road from the CTV studios.
really?
And
So you're staying there with them?
No, not actually. Staying in Littleton and Taitapu Road.
Okay.
Yep.
So your album, Big Nudge Pie, there's actually a song in there for Christchurch.
Yeah, a track called The Burden of Relief.
Yeah.
Was written just after the February quake. We were down here the weekend before, the Tuesday that it happened, playing a couple of gigs. We played at El Santo in Littleton, I think on the Friday, was it?
Yeah.
And then the Saturday night we played at a 21st in Sumner. So yeah, I guess, you know, we were affected by it without being here. But I was actually here in the September earthquake as well, playing a gig in Littleton.
Wow.
So yeah, I thought it was, you know, relevant to write a tune about it.
Okay. So Ida, you're the, as we were talking before, you are the breadwinner of the band. You bring in all the dough. So tell me about this.
Oh, I don't think I do.
You keep the band going.
It's not true. We're all equal in this part, but yeah, I do. I also have a pretty busy life outside of the band at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you guys, you're the band. You're fully behind the band.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot of other pies that we're baking at the moment, eh? A lot of
You guys love pies.
How can you not?
Yeah, well,
not?
this is true.
Home cooked pies, killer.
That's the one.
Just something I've observed from watching the intro of you guys. The beards are getting longer.
Yeah.
Since that was made.
Time goes on, eh?
Time goes on, the beards get longer. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, it's you know, coming to the South Island, had to prepare a bit by bushing up.
Yeah.
You know, really. Eyles coming along there.
It's actually, this is a true story, because these boys roll like that all the time. They have their beds, you know, but I normally just keep it stubblish.
Yeah.
And I was a bit like, oh, I'm going down south. Yeah, I'll just let it blow out for a bit. Keep me a bit warmer on the face.
Yeah. Because that's how we roll down here. Facial hair galore.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's big in Wellington too.
Yeah, the beard is big. Yeah.
It's funny you picked that up, actually.
Oh, really?
Because a friend of mine was just speaking to me 2 days ago saying when she came to our gig last week, our album release in Wellington, she couldn't believe how bearded and how hairy everybody was.
Just in the crowd, eh?
It's not a bad thing. Hey.
And well, Ryan and I play on a soccer team as well, where it's you know, it's a full team of beards.
Good. Are you called the beards or the pies? Or?
The Blazers, actually.
The Blazers.
The Blazers, yeah.
So you're all Wellington based now. You're from Christchurch. You're from Hawke's Bay. So you guys met there. Then you sort of all moved to Wellington to form the Nudge.
Yeah, we moved to Wellington a few years ago. I moved in about 2003 or so, after a stint in Invercargill, and back up to Wellington. So we've been there for a few years, and the band's only been together for about a year. But
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are doing well.
Yeah.
You're touring quite a bit. Is this the first time for South Island touring?
No, it's not actually. It's we've come down here with the Black Seeds, and with Little Bushmen further south, and Fly My Pretties in the summer. We were supporting them.
Wow. And you guys have been together for a year, and you're playing with these guys.
Yeah, well, I guess we've
Awesome.
been in the musical community of Wellington for years
Okay.
now. So it's you know, this project's feeling pretty good, and yeah, we're getting backed up by the whānau in Wellington. Yeah.
Awesome. Now tell me about your fascination with pies. All on this album, all I see are pies. Pies. What's the fascination? You guys love pies, right? And pies can fall in
it's
the
hard
beard.
not to, really, you know.
Yeah.
You do get a few pastry crumbs.
In the beard.
You'll see a few photos in there of me with the pastry.
Yeah.
Caught in the act.
Yeah. Cool. And James, your mum will be pleased you're wearing the hat that she's knitted for you.
Oh, yep. No, she.
On local tally.
She's great, and she sells these hats at the Riccarton Market, actually.
Does she?
Yeah.
So if you're cold out there.
Yeah.
Riccarton Rotary Market on Sundays.
Yeah.
9 till 2, I think.
And then the Sumner one, but we're actually going on tour. She makes little roses. I should have bought you one.
Oh, you should have.
And I'll tell Mum to drop one off. It'll look good on TV.
That's an ask, Mum.
Ask Mum, not tell Mum.
But she's made 50 roses for us to take away on tour to sell as part of our merchandise.
Awesome.
They're a hit amongst the men and the ladies.
Is that right?
Yep.
Excellent. So the song that's playing right now, this is the one you wrote for Christchurch?
Yeah.
Yeah? Awesome. So you played in Christchurch on Friday night. Now where are you off to?
We're off to Invercargill.
Yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
Going down there Friday night. Oh, we'll be in Dunedin for a couple more nights, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Cool.
And then down to Invercargill and then to Queenstown on Saturday.
Nice one.
Wanaka on Sunday and then back home.
To Wellington.
Yep.
And then where to from there?
Straight up to Auckland, actually.
Auckland.
We spend one night at home and then we fly up to Auckland to do a show in the museum.
Awesome.
Then we come back and head back up north again the next weekend, and that will be the kind of official end to the Big Nudge Pie release tour. Would have been over 6 weeks type thing.
Wow.
And
awesome.
it's been great fun.
So how can we find out more? Can we follow you on Facebook, even MySpace? What's...
Totally.
Yeah, we've got a website, www.thenudge.co.nz, and that directs you to all the other things like Facebook, including Amplifier, where you can buy the album.
Awesome.
There'll be some albums available in Penny Lane, probably, down here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, James, Ryan, Ida, really good to have you on the program. Have a good tour.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bless.
Now I'd like to welcome back to the program David and Sam from Sweet Phoebe, and of course Isaac.
Isaac. Say hello.
Isaac. David, you're... Yeah, say hello, Isaac. So, Sweet Phoebe.
Yes.
You've finished the run now.
We did.
How was it? How'd
Really
it go?
good. Yeah, no, it was really good. It was interesting because we did it in February at the Loons, and then obviously with this season at the Canterbury Celebration Theatre, and Sam obviously came on board in the last season as Fraser, and it sort of totally different show in a way. It's quite interesting when you get another actor to play a role that's been done before. It changes the whole show. So it was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Sam, let's just talk about your role again, because last time we were here on City Life, you were here with Rachel, and you were still in rehearsals, I think. How was it? How was the performance?
Well, I mean, the thing is, with the first show in February, the guy that played Fraser, Ben Childs, he was quite a bit younger than Rachel, and sort of obviously so, and that made a difference, to the dynamics. Isaac made a difference to the dynamics and the way things worked in the play. And whereas with Rachel and I, and we're roughly the same age, it changed things, completely altogether. And again, and we were kind of more on an even keel, Helen looked like a bit of a sort of cougar with Ben, I guess, in the first one. But we were almost sort of equally matched.
Yeah. So let's bring Isaac into this, because this play is called Sweet Phoebe.
Yep.
Isaac, how do you, where do you come into it?
Well, Isaac plays Phoebe, of course.
Right. Okay.
And he makes a couple of appearances, which actually, weirdly enough, in the script, you never see the dog. But we sort of felt that we would like to kind of bring him on, and the audience sort of all go and go.
Well, there's the whole cute factor. Kind of.
Yeah.
There's a cute factor.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, gorgeous dog.
And he's very well behaved.
He is.
Yeah.
He's very, he just sort of sits there, and it's amazing how much he adds to the comedy, because there's this really awkward scene where Fraser and Helen are just sitting there, and I bring in the dog as Fraser, and just sit him down on the sofa after a bit of a scuffle. She insists on putting some glab wrap down so that Phoebe doesn't touch the sofa. And then we kind of just sort of look at it for a minute or two, and it's all just really, really awkward. And Isaac sort of excels himself, because he kind of, sometimes he just sort of looks up. I don't know, it's just tiny little things.
I think it's his face.
Yeah, it is.
They've got great little character. They are.
Yeah. Because the story is about how you're looking after a dog because another couple's gone away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we play a very kind of easy, I think. we play a very sort of suave, sort of yuppie-ish kind of,
the perfect couple.
Right,
so to speak.
Perfect, right.
And and everything's perfect, and she's sort of borderline OCD, and everything's sort of in order. And so when this dog comes into their life, they sort of, it
throws everything out of kilter.
It does,
really.
Now you're heading off to Akaroa. You're taking this show to Akaroa. Tell me about that.
Well, were going to take it to Akaroa in February, and then obviously with the earthquake and things, we didn't. So we sort of felt that it would be quite a nice little show to take over there, and the Gaiety, which is the theatre there, is just so beautiful. It's amazing, and so with the council we sort of said, well, you know, we worked it out and thought we'd take it over for a night and give the locals a bit of a laugh, and you know, put it over there, because I think it's. I mean, the show's only an hour and 20 minutes, so it's very short. And it appeals to a whole wide range of people. So I think it'll be quite fun to go over there for the night and do it.
So it's 28th of August.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Give them a bit of entertainment.
What next for you, David? What's coming
well,
up?
the next one we start on Monday, and we're doing The Three Sisters by Anton Chekhov, which is a brilliant play. And we're actually performing that out in Southbridge, which is Leaston, and they've got an incredible Art Deco theatre out there. And we were going to put it back into the marquee, but I think with a play like that, and because it has quite a large cast, we sort of felt that it needed to go into an actual theatre. So Sam is playing in that before he goes overseas, and so we start on Monday for that, so it's all go.
So rehearsals on Monday?
Yeah.
Where are you off to?
I'm off to London. I'm going to do a Masters in Film at the Central School of Speech and Drama.
Wow.
Over there. So,
how hard was that to get into?
It was quite, well, it was sort of a 4-year process, really.
Right.
They audition about 15,000 people for it, and well, the initial ones, you know, people just send in applications, but there's quite a lot of, you know, competition for, you know, the 18 places or however many there are. I was meant to go last year, and they lost my passport at the British Embassy. So, but anyway, no, it was fine. I've sort of kept myself pretty busy since.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck.
Thank
Hope to
you.
catch up with you before you leave anyway.
Yeah.
So that's 28th of August.
Yep.
Sweet Phoebe in Akaroa.
That's right.
Have a really good gig over there, won't
Thank you.
Thanks.
After the break, we catch up with Bevan James Eyles. You're back with City Live, and it's birthday boy Bevan.
That's right, 34.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
What are you up to today?
Spending time with my partner.
Are you?
And we're going to make a song.
Tell me about that. I mean, that sounds beautiful. That sounds like a beautiful thing.
I play music, I play piano and guitar, and I've got all the recording equipment at home. So my daughter and my partner and I, they said, what can we do tomorrow? And I said, we're going to make a song. So tonight, we've booked out some time, we're going to make a song. So
You've booked out some time.
locked in from 3 to 5, it's happening, okay?
That sounds awesome. Yeah. So next week you'll be debuting your song on City Live.
Yep, and you can be a backup singer, actually.
Thank you very much.
Just saying, it's a pretty amazing experience.
I feel honoured.
You should do.
Hey, so I'm thinking, this coming weekend, this Get Up to 5.
Yes.
It's starting.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're going to be doing it. So we've got a group of people coming along, and we're going to be working you guys. I'm really excited about it, because for me, you're stepping into an environment where you're going to meet cool people, good coaches. It's an environment you're really going to enjoy it.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's nothing to be scared of? Because I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah, totally. You know, and I think when we do our first seminar, that's what we talk about, is that you're going to be in a group of people and you're going to realise that you're all feeling the same way, and it actually relieves it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. We can talk about that a little bit in the future, because I've got an interesting story I want to write about really soon, which I'll talk about maybe in a future show.
Okay, cool.
How we're actually really terrible at predicting the future when it comes to exercise.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so for anybody else that wants to get into it, getup5.co.nz.
Yep, we're starting this week, aren't we?
Yep,
so yeah,
Sunday.
so this Sunday, so get onto it now, because it's kind of running out of time.
All right.
You'll regret it if you don't. Yeah.
So, I mean, there will be you and other fitness professionals there with it. I mean, how do we choose fitness professionals when we're outside of programs like this?
Yeah, so it was interesting, actually. One of the coaches, a girl called Di Lauder, who's a personal trainer around town, who's a really good personal trainer, she asked me to write her a reference a while ago to put on her website, and it got me thinking about what does it really take, what should someone be looking in when they're trying to find a good personal trainer or a fitness professional that's helping them try to achieve their goals. And to me, it really comes from one key thing, is where do they come from as a person? You know, are they the kind of person who actually is motivated to help you grow as a person? And it was interesting, Di's a really amazing personal trainer, and she's one of our running coaches that we use for all the running products we have. And we always get really great feedback about Di because she gives really good advice. And I think the thing is, if you're going to choose anyone in the industry, most of them are going to have a level of education so that they can give you the advice that you need to create change in your body or lifestyle. But advice is one thing, but to come from a place of caring is actually where you really want to find when it comes to finding a personal trainer. And like Di, she's really great. Like you see her with the runners, or you hear from her for personal training clients. She's really there for them 100%. And she's built a really professional business around it. But the reason she's successful in my mind is that she just comes from a place of, I want to help you grow and I want to help you become a better person. And for me, if you are trying to find a fitness professional, anyone can give you good advice, but really you want to try and find someone who actually does come from that place of, how can I help you be a better version of yourself and what am I going to do to help you achieve that? Instead of, you know, you trying to prove yourself to me or me just kind of telling you what to do. And it's a real different place. And I think it's, you know, for someone who doesn't do exercise, how do you find those types of people, I suppose, is the next question, which you probably maybe should have asked. But as I lead into this myself.
You're such a good interviewer yourself.
Yeah, I just interview myself. But it is that real... It is about talking to other people, you know, and in our city we have some really great trainers. There's like Jean Scott, who's a really great personal trainer. Bronwyn is a girl who does the 12-week challenge. You know, we've got some really strong personal trainers within certain gyms and within doing their own thing. And those types of personal trainers, they tend to get a bit of a name for themselves because when you're delivering from that place, the word of mouth starts to go out there. And so if you are unsure of how to choose a good fitness professional, it's really just about asking around and communicating with people who are using personal trainers, asking if they're happy with their service. I talk about the key thing is coming from a caring place, but also are they very professional in the way they run their business? You know, do they communicate with you clearly? Do they deliver on the thing they promise they say they're going to do? You know, do they turn up on time? You know, just all that kind of service level that they can provide.
I think it's a really good point that you make, that you need to find out where they're coming from as well and why they're doing it. And rather than
because to be honest, you know, the fitness industry is really interesting. When it comes to personal training, the average lifespan of a personal trainer is only about 375 days. It's a real high turnover.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's really interesting. Like I've worked at the gym for now 12 years, and there's probably been 8 to 10 personal trainers who have been working that long period of time, and there's probably been a turnover of a couple hundred. And the turnover is really huge, and partly is because people think because they love sport that they're going to love being a personal trainer, but they don't realise there's actually a lot of business that needs to go alongside that. That just because I'm good at doing sport and pushing you to motivate you doesn't mean I necessarily understand how to run a strong business. And so, you know, if you get personal trainers who get the strong business sense, but then the next level is to go, how do you get a personal trainer who then comes from a place of caring? And, you know, like I know for my running businesses, that's one of our key things we look for. We look for, knowledge is, you know, everyone should have that anyway in our industry, but then do they come from a place of caring with people and are they fun? That's everything we look for, you know, is that, you know, do they create a fun environment for the people? And that's kind of the last point, I suppose, is that will you have a connection with that person, you know? And it's hard to know, and I think that if you are going to, you know, fitness professionals can cost a lot of money. You know, you can pay up to $100 a session for a personal trainer, so that's a lot of money to kind of put out. So you don't have to necessarily feel that you're committed to them. Like if you are going to approach one, you can say, can I try 4 sessions and just see if I work with you? And if at the end of it, you know, you don't feel whether you're working with them, and go find someone who you do want to work with.
Okay, that's a really good point. All right, thanks for that. Now, getup5.co.nz for anybody else out there who wants to do your running program.
Yeah, we're really excited. We really want to create some change for people.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, have a really good birthday, won't you?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Finally on the program, Naomi Ferguson. Always good to have you on City Life.
Oh, thanks, Kanita.
Hopefully it's not the last time before you head away overseas.
Well, we'll have to try and fit another one in before I go.
I can't believe you're leaving us. Your personality, it's too wonderful for Christchurch. Tell me about where you're going.
Well, in 5 weeks, my husband and I are moving to the Netherlands to live. So it's very exciting, a big new adventure for us, big challenge. And we have no real plans. We don't really know where we're going to be in Holland, but just a time for a change for us.
So will you be singing over there? He's a musician as well. So
he's a composer and he also makes a lot of music himself too, plays instruments. So, you know, the idea is we want to do a lot of work over there. We want, I mean, I've got a show that I'm developing that I'd really like to workshop and perform over there, and he's going to be part of that. We're a really good team. We have a lot of complementary skills and we really enjoy working together. So,
oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Have you already made some contacts over there for you to go over to?
We have a few. We haven't actually sort of done a lot of preemptive strike or anything on the Netherlands. We're just sort of going to go and see what happens. I mean, we're really lucky. We've got a lot of family over there. Alex is Dutch, my husband, and so we have a lot of family, which is, you know, I think probably for us more important to have those kind of personal contacts and community contacts. The music and the arts, I think, we'll find the right people. So. And
are you able to teach over there because you're a singing teacher?
Yes, if depending on the way the visa situation works out, I think I'm going to be, as long as Alex gets a job, I'm allowed to sort of have the rights of a Dutch citizen as far as we can work out. It's very tricky to work it out from this end, so we're just kind of going to go and cross our fingers and toes and just see what happens. But I mean, I don't mind being a lady of leisure if it's expected of me. I mean, it will be a huge sacrifice, but I think I can cope.
Yeah, it would be a huge sacrifice for me as well to be a lady of leisure.
Yeah.
Now, farewell concerts?
Yes, we have got a big farewell concert coming up on September the 17th at the newly reopened Jazz School, which is fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I worked there as a teacher, and as soon as there was sort of even a little inkling of a rumour that the building was going to be reopened, I went and booked the room because I thought otherwise it's going to be like the Aurora Centre and you won't get in for 2.5 years. Yeah. So it's perfect for us because I wanted a room with a good piano in it, and also it's a really familiar space for me as a performer, and it's just well resourced for it. It's just ideal. So yeah, so that's our farewell concert on September the 17th, and tickets go on sale for that on the 29th of August.
Okay.
Through Ignition, which is the Christchurch Polytechnic sort of creative branch.
Okay, so you've got 5 weeks left here in Christchurch. How much longer are you doing singing teaching for?
Up until 2 days before we leave.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Can't keep a good woman down.
Yeah. Now tell me about your new EP.
Yes, my new EP. Well, my new EP was intended to be an album. We began recording on the 20th of February.
Wow.
In the Music Centre.
Oh.
In the chapel. So, or the Morris Till Auditorium as it's called now. So I think we were the last piece of music to be made in that room. So we went in, that was our first of 4 sessions. We were actually had all our dates booked for January, and then they were red stickered after the Boxing Day quakes. So we went in on the 20th, on the Sunday night, we recorded 5 tracks, and then Christchurch fell down, and that was it. So the EP is entitled The Rest Is Elsewhere. So yeah, so it's been a long project. These things always have a lot of time in the planning. So it's been sort of a 1.5 years worth of planning, and I'm just really thrilled that we had something that we could put out, because if we'd only had 2 songs from that first session, that would have been a 1.5 years worth of planning down the tube. So that's going to be, the official release date for that is the September the 17th concert, and it's a very limited edition. We're doing a very, very small run of it. It will be available subsequently on iTunes, but we're just going to have a so it's very much a get in, get your copy, and it will be a very special little token for us of our crazy quake year in Christchurch. So
tell me about the songs that are involved.
Well, there's 5 songs on the EP, and the album was to be all of my original music. So I've got 2 albums out already, which are sort of interpretations of classic songs. My first album was a solo album with myself and a bunch of other musicians, and then the second album was with Graham Wardrop. And we did sort of folk, kind of Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen and all the music I love. So this was sort of my originals project. So there's 5 songs on it. They're all written by me, and they're mostly sort of love songs, you know, because love is a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
Although there is a little lullaby at the end, near the end of the album, which is sort of about just about the struggles that we can go through in life, and trying to sort of, you know, find peace in a tumultuous world.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. September 17th at the Jazz School.
Yeah.
Tickets?
15 and 10, so $15 for waged, $10 for concession, and they'll go on sale on the 29th, August the 29th.
Ignition?
Yes, I think it's ignition.co.nz or something, but if you go to the Christchurch Polytechnic homepage, you'll see a button for Ignition, I'm sure.
Okay, we hope to catch up with you before you leave anyway.
Thanks so much for having me, Kanisha.
Thank you, Naomi. Now that is City Life for today. I am actually away for the next 3 days, but Pete Smith will look after you, and I'm sure he'll look after you very well. You can get in touch with us, connetta@ctv.co.nz. You can call us 3777 033, or you can write to us, PO Box 1100 Christchurch. You can watch episodes of City Life on demand. Just go to ctv.co.nz, find the big YouTube logo, click on that, find City Life, and you'll see the episodes there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you when I'm back.